Okay, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars record prediction. So Jacksonville, they did get Doug Peterson, which I think is a huge plus. You have Trevor Lawrence going to the second year. This roster still has holes, but they did sign a lot of free agents. But to me, their team still has a lot of holes in it. So your first game versus the Commanders. Commanders have a really good defensive line, and I think that's going to cause problems for Trevor Lawrence. And and Commanders are getting their Carson Wentz now, and he's not the best, but I think he can do well against the defense. And Trevor Lawrence, he may struggle versus the Washington's defense, and Washington has home field advantage, so I'm gonna take them on the first game. Then you have week 2 versus the Colts. Colts, they're a playoff contending team. They did get Matt Ryan, but for some reason they never win in Jacksonville, so I'm gonna take them. Then you have week 3 versus the Chargers. Chargers also added a lot of free agency, like Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. They still have Justin Herbert. It's just too much. They're just way too talented for the Jaguars to overcome, and they have a home field advantage being on the West Coast. So I'm gonna take the Chargers. You know, week 4 versus the Eagles, another team that's just way too talented. Um, way a lot more talented than the Jaguars, but I think this one definitely could be a trap game because Doug Peterson might want revenge. But I'm gonna take the Eagles. Then you have a game versus the Texans. Texans, similar to the Jaguars, brought in a lot of free agents, but they're veteran free agents that weren't that good, and they have just as many holes and less talented than the Jaguars. So to Jacksonville. So it is a divisional game, so hard to predict. In week 6 versus the Colts, like I said, Colts are playoff contending. I do not see them getting swept by Jacksonville. So I'm gonna take the Colts. Then you have a game versus the Giants, another rebuilding team. Giants, they do have Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and a good front seven and interior defensive line, which I think will cause problems. But Giants' offense, I don't think is going to be good enough to win them the game. And I see Trevor Lawrence maybe having one of his better games against a not great Giants secondary. So I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they have home field advantage. Now, week 8 versus the Broncos. Definitely a trap game for the Broncos, especially since Jacksonville has home field advantage. But they have Russell Wilson and a very talented offense and defense. But if the Broncos do get injured, I can definitely see this potential as an upset game. But I'm going to still take the Broncos. Then you have week 9 versus the Raiders. Raiders brought in a lot of talent like Devontae Adams. They have an improving secondary, but their defense overall is lacking. Another potential trap game for the Raiders, especially since Jacksonville has home field advantage again. But Derek Carr, I think he's a veteran quarterback. He's not going to fall into the trap game, so I'm going to take them. The game against the Chiefs. Chiefs are a Super Bowl contending team, even though they lost Tyreek Hill. I still think the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid are going to be too much, so I'm going to take the Chiefs. You have a game versus the Ravens. Ravens, another playoff contending team. They got Lamar Jackson. They have J.K. Dobbins, Mark Andrews. I think it's going to be too much for Jacksonville to overcome. But Jacksonville does have a bye week coming up, a bye week and home field advantage, so definitely going to be a close game. But to me, the Ravens defense is going to win it to them, so I'm going to take the Ravens. And you have week 13 versus the Lions. Lions, like the Jaguars, did bring in a lot of talent, mainly to the draft. They do still have Jared Goff. They have St. Brown, Chart, and their defense isn't the best, but isn't the worst. To me, I think the Lions are going to win mainly because of their home field advantage. They're being in Detroit in late November, early December. So I'm going to take the Lions. Yeah, week 14 versus the Titans. It's a divisional game, so hard to predict. But Derrick Henry, he's going to be back here, and Ryan Tannehill. I think they're going to carry the offense, and Giants defense, I think it's going to be too much for Trevor Lawrence and ETN and their receiving core. So I'm going to take the Titans. Then you have a game against Dallas. To me, the Jacksonville defense just can't stop Dallas. And Zeke and CD, all of that. And Dallas defense can be good at times, so I'm going to take them. Then you have week 16, a Thursday nighter against the Jets. Jets, like the Jacksonville, improved the free agency and draft. Talent-wise, I think they're similar, but it's a Thursday nighter in New York. I'm going to take the Jets. You have a game versus the Texans. To me, the Texans aren't as talented or slightly less talented by Jags, but it's always a divisional game. I'm not sure, but I think the Texans swept the Jaguars last year. And so I see them splitting this year. You have another game versus the Titans. The Titans are most likely looking for a division win at this point, and I don't think they're going to pull a Colts and lose the final game and miss the playoffs. So I'm going to take the Titans. So Indiana after Jacksonville, after Jaguars going 3-14, 2-4 in division, 3-5 at home, and 0-9 away.